You're the owner of a small business, which means you're also the tech guy, and HR, and personal assistant, and head honcho, and intern. You could use another pair of hands, like the experts you'll find at Verizon Small Business Days, April 21st through 27th. Get a free tech check, special deals, and more. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness to book your appointment. Verizon Business.
Welcome to another weekend podcast. I'm Don
Reality
McDonald.
radio
Thanks
for a really
listening.
great future.
Today,
We're talking
a short
real money.
Podcast for the weekend, where the question and the topic are tightly intertwined, but the topic deviates slightly from the question. You'll get it in a minute when you hear the question. By the way, if you want to call in your questions, it's really easy to do. Just call 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just leave your question with as much detail as possible. Or you can go to talkingrealmoney.com and type up your questions or record them there. So there's all kinds of ways to get your questions to us, and I do love answering them or working them into a topic. And that's the case with this question. The question has a hidden question within it. Let's see if you can figure out what that is. Here you go.
Yeah, hi, my name is Jeff, and I have a question about money market funds in an IRA and how to determine the options that have the best yield. I have mine in my wife and I have a significant amount of our money, out of the market right now. We don't want to be subject to the volatility, and we're looking for the best rate on something that's very safe. And we've just been looking at money markets so far, and the one that I'm in has a 0.01 7-day yield. And I've done some research and looked at some of the other brokerages and the ones that they offer in those accounts, and the best I can find is 0.05. And obviously those are really small numbers, 0.05% over 7 days. And so I'm hoping you might be able to provide some advice on how to identify other money market options that are better than that, or really more open-ended, since we're wanting security. If you can think of anything that are not money markets that are more secure, but they can return a bigger yield for us. So I'd appreciate if you would be able to answer that question for us. Thanks.
Ostensibly, the question is, where do I get a higher return on my money with absolute safety? And I'll get to that part in a minute. But within the question was another issue that is at least equally, if not more important. You probably heard the caller say that this was in an IRA and that he and his wife want to be out of the market right now because of the volatility. That concerns me, because what that says, what I read between the lines, is that you're market timers. I know you don't want to admit it, but you are. And I'm sure this is not the answer that you wanted to hear, but it's the answer that not only you need to hear, but everybody needs to hear, because let me explain something about investing. If you're investing to make money, then you must accept risk. Now, there's a way to turn that risk into only volatility. And when I say only volatility, volatility is not a bad thing. Volatility is the price you pay for what has been over the past 90 plus years. Get this. What has been over the past nearly a century, an average annual return of about 10% per year for equities. Globally, well, U.S. diversified, globally for a shorter period of time. But you can't do what you're doing to get that. You can't. Because all of the evidence says that those who try to do what you're doing, which is to get out when it feels bad, fail miserably. There's no evidence, none, that shows you can do what you're trying to do successfully. You cannot know when to get out before things fall apart or when to get back in before they start rising again. And short of going out and reading all of the academic research, and there is a ton, you need to believe me, this is not going to work for you. You need, if it's an IRA and you want it to grow and you want it to make money, because bear in mind right now, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, if you want absolute safety, you are guaranteed to lose money to inflation. Is that your purpose? Is that your goal? Do you want to go backward? Because that's what you're doing. You need to know your tolerance for volatility. See, this is the key. How much can you stand? How low can you stand it to go, your investment portfolio, before you're going to be tempted to bail out? You must know that number. Once you know that number, then you build a portfolio that, based on historical numbers, historical information, and that's easy to get, I can give it to you right here, is in line with your tolerance. And then every year or so, you rebalance it to get back to your tolerance, which means you sell your winners and you buy your losers. That makes it a disciplined approach, because what you're trying to do right now is predict. And while we are smart creatures, we really are, we're the smartest creature to ever walk this planet, to ever live on this planet, we do not have any ability, despite our belief that we do because of anecdotal evidence, which is not evidence, we do not have any ability to predict the future. We do not. You will be wrong as often as you will be right. The only problem is, psychologically, we overweight our correct choices, our good guesses, and we forget about our bad guesses. So that's the fact of this matter. Now, if you want to make more money with absolute safety, you have to do, well, one thing. You're not going to do it in a money market. You might do it in a bank savings, higher yielding savings account, but you're not going to get much more than 0.7%, 0.8% at some of the online banks. But that means moving your IRA to them, because you're not going to be able to get that in a self-directed IRA. You can extend your maturity, so you get rid of that liquidity. You can go into a CD and maybe make as much as 1%, and most brokerage firms will sell you CDs. But that means locking your money up for a year or 2 or 3, because if you get out early, there'll be a penalty, which means you lose some of your interest. But to get what you want, a money market with much more than 0.5% yield, you go to Bankrate.com and watch, but you're not going to make it. And bear in mind that if you're getting 0.5% or less, and inflation is even 1%, you have a guaranteed loss in your portfolio. Guaranteed. Your money is worth less. You can't time the market. I know. I just don't know how to get this across. You don't have the power. None of you have this power. Please stop trying to do it. You're just going to frustrate yourselves, and you're going to mess up your future. And don't just take my word for it. Do some research, but make sure the papers you're reading, and they're going to be boring because they're papers, they're academic papers, but make sure the ones you're reading are from true academics, people with PhDs after their names. And you're going to find over and over again that there isn't a one of them, not one, who believes the market, the future, is predictable. Send your questions in at talkingrealmoney.com on the contact form. We'd love to help you. Call us at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And tell friends about the podcast. Please share the word. And if you need more in-depth help We are always here for you at our firm, Vestory. We have an investment advisory firm, 100% fiduciary firm. We're not registered representatives. We're not duly registered. We don't sell commission products ever. And by the way, when we help people, we don't pressure them into becoming clients. We believe in helping people because what we found is when we help people, even if they never become a client, they do remember that you helped. And everybody has a friend who truly needs an advisor. So go to vestory.com, vestory.com. Set up an appointment with one of our advisors. Spend a little time with them. Go through your hodgepodge portfolio or get that second opinion. It's not going to cost anything. There's no obligation and no high-pressure sales pitch. Vestory.com. It's really easy to do. Just there's an appointment calendar. Set it up. We'll meet with you virtually. Let's see, anything else? No. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. We have podcasts coming up all the time. And if you're listening to this before Thanksgiving, have a great Thanksgiving. If you're listening after Thanksgiving, have as good a holiday as you can possibly have, given our circumstances. Thanks for listening. I'm Don McDonald.
Talking Real Money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Should keep the lawyers happy.